Okay, how do you market your film with no budget? So the big thing to remember is if you have no budget, you're gonna have to make up with sheer effort. There's no other way around it. Like if it's either you have a lot of money to spend on it that makes up for the effort and you can enlist a lot of people, or in this case, in most indie films, you're gonna have to make up with it with just a lot of effort. So in this case, I'm really talking about a no budget marketing. Ideally, for any indie film, you would have saved something for marketing. Even if it's $1,000, you can still do something with that. But in this example, let's go with no budget whatsoever. You have no PR team, you have nothing saved. You have no chance of getting any more money. So that's what we're going to talk about today. First, you want to be able to clarify your outcome. What do you want? Do you want more sales? Do you want more exposure? Do you want more industry interests? Because depending on what your priority is, it can be different. What gets you industry interest or helps you career-wise can be different than getting as many sales as possible. And yes, ideally you do all of them, but you still have to have a priority list of in what order you want to set that. And I think it's important to clarify that first. For example, if you're working on getting more industry interest and really just using it as to help your career for the next project or projects, then you really want to focus on outreach to PR that you can do to get into anything that the industry might read, any type of social proof that you can get. So really, that is your priority, then it's social proof, just not necessarily your priority if you're, just trying to make as many sales as possible. If you're trying to make as many sales as possible, basically getting as many eyeballs as you can, then your strategy is different. Then you would actually focus mainly on social media. That right now is the best way to promote your film to a mass audience. It's free. You just have to really create creative content, and not only just creative content, it has to be a lot of quantity as well. Sometimes filmmakers think, okay, I have this one amazing piece of content and then that doesn't do a lot, but the algorithm doesn't work that way anymore. You have to feed it consistently 3 to 5 times a week at least. You're not going to know which piece is going to go viral or semi-viral or get picked up in the algorithm, so you just need to keep pushing it out there. And then when you see success with something, do more of that. Number 2 is you really want to leverage your cast and crew. If you have no budget and it's just you, then you definitely want to get everyone that's invested in your film, everyone that's on board with your film. You want to get literally everyone on board with posting, with promoting it. The easiest way to do that is to prepare social media content that you can just share with them so that they can just post it. You don't want to give your crew and cast work to do when they've already worked probably for not very much money on your indie film. You want to just literally make all this social media, spend a weekend on it, and have it all ready to go so you can share it with everyone. So all they have to do is post. This is your biggest free marketing class because maybe it's 10 people, 20 people. That's still something, and it's free. So that you do want to make this as easy as possible for them, and you want it to be good. And once they share that just expands your organic reach, and that's step 1 really. Number 3, your trailer strategy. I see a lot of filmmakers, they just post their trailer once. It kind of amazes me how many times filmmakers only post something about their film once or twice, and they just, I don't know, I've seen people say they feel like they're too salesy when they post too much. It doesn't matter though. Like, this is something you've worked on for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. This is your time to be salesy and not have too much pride in sharing it too much. Don't forget, on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, realistically 20% of your followers, if that, are seeing your stuff. Just for everyone to see it, in theory, you'd have to post at least 5 times. So don't worry about over posting. Everyone that's sick of it or doesn't want to see it just scrolls right past anyway, and a lot of people haven't seen it. So don't be afraid to post as much as possible. This is something that you're proud of, so it's normal to be sharing it. And most people like that. They like people that are proud of the work that they've done. And that's what you're doing here. Another thing with the trailer is don't just only post a full-length trailer. Cut that thing up into little clips, 15-second clips, 20-second clips. Post little scenes even from the movie. What you can do if, especially if you're doing this yourself and you're not an editor, is you can use programs that are out there now, like one that's, you should remember that is good, is Opus AI, that will literally clip for you and create these 15, 20, 30, 1-minute clips. It'll create like 15 of those or 20 of those clips. There might be a bunch that are not useful or that you don't like, but out of those, even when I create things on there, There's usually like at least 2, 3, 4 that are like, okay, this is pretty good. That's all you need. You don't need to use all 15 of them, but that's a good way to do it if you want something that's fast. I'm sure there's a lot of other programs out there at this point, especially with AI, that are able to cut things quicker and just give you like 10-15 seconds promo material. That's what I would do. I would have your long trailer and also just have a bunch of these smaller clips, and that you're just rotating all of these and posting all these. And don't forget to caption it as well and give them a CTA, so call to action, like drop the link in the comments, for example. That's something you can do. Put it in your bio, whichever way, and then literally say in your caption, check out link in bio for the full film, or in your comments, wherever you put it, but make sure you actually tell people to go see it. And if you have an interesting hook or you have a promo running, definitely mention that. And even the hook thing could be something like, you know, shot in one take, or this scene was shot in one take, or something fun and interesting, or this was shot with a crew of 4 people. It can even be something like that, like lean into your indie film thing, whatever you guys accomplished or had to overcome. That is another selling point for the film. And what you're doing there is you're pitching it as almost like a human interest story. You're getting people into your journey into making it. Get people emotionally involved with you, not just the movie, with you as well. But the other thing, number 4, that you want to do is you want to submit to free press outlets. So that could be your local newspapers. If you're an alumni somewhere, that's obviously a low-hanging fruit. City newspapers, even the cities where you came from. Like, let's say you live in LA, you don't have to just pitch the LA ones, which can be harder. You can also pitch the ones that, let's say you were from Minneapolis or something, pitch that one as well as a local Minneapolis filmmaker. They like those type of stories of making it in Hollywood or making your indie film in Hollywood. Those are interesting stories. So pitch it like that. As I'm an Minneapolis filmmaker that just made his first feature film here in Los Angeles. That's more interesting. So learn to pitch yourself to these outlets. And there's so many micro sites out there and even blogs that it's almost too many to name. So let's just figure out what, you know, whatever your genre is, there's a bunch of those. If you're horror, for example, there's a bunch of those horror blogs out there. And don't be afraid to go to all these niche ones, because the more niche ones you get, more likely they'll actually review yours, write an article about yours. Start small, if anything, and then use those small ones to pitch to bigger ones. Say, hey, I'm in this already, and that builds social proof, and you can snowball it that way. Number 5, DM these small creators. You don't have the budget, like these, when I say creators, I mean influencers. And don't go for these, you don't have the budget for these big influencers like the studios do. So go for micro influencers. Go literally for people at 25K followers or 50K followers. You'll be surprised that a lot of these will do it for free. And if you get 10 of these, 20 of these, 30 of these, that's a pretty big audience that you're targeting. And again, it's just like anything else, just pitch as much as possible. If you pitch 10 and one does it, that's a huge win. So really figure out like what micro influencers you can find that, you know, either review movies as a general influencer. If you're something niche, like let's say you're a tennis movie like we're doing, there's a bunch of tennis influencers out there, target them and shoot them a DM and personalize. Actually take a look at their content and personalize something that you've seen, what you like, that so that they know it's just not a copy paste DM. That doesn't do very well. So make sure you take the extra effort to personalize every DM. And number 6, use your film as a content engine. This is kind of similar to what I mentioned earlier, but get different clips from your film and then have them in 5-second clips, 10-second clips, especially those shorter clips do really well on social media. And you can go lean into some of these trends. There's a bunch of these trends where I think one of them was like, I forgot that this was the point or something. It was something like that. And you can use that for your own film. Like maybe you start with something like, I forgot this was the point, and then you show a clip of you behind the scenes before right away it cuts to a scene in the movie. Even something, this is top of my head, if you take your time to brainstorm creatively, because that's the big strength filmmakers have, is they're also creative. So if they put their mind to marketing, you guys can probably create interesting and innovative marketing, just like grassroots type of thing. And that's what you need to do here. So really think about things that are fun, and don't worry about taking risks or looking stupid or whatever. Just try a bunch of things. You're not going to know what does well, and something silly might do the best. Who knows? You know what I mean? So it's best to just test it out and throw it up there. And of course, there's just general ideas that you could make for content content like why I made this film, again, personal, getting interested in that. Another one is like what went wrong behind the scenes, share things that didn't go right. That's interesting as well. So you want to just really create like a lot of connection really, and get them interested in you as well, not just the film, because that's the difference between you and a big studio, is that they can connect with you. Big studio, there's no relationship. Then number 7, use comments as content. Everyone that comments, if it's on Letterboxd review, or on Tomatoes, just even comments on Instagram, you can use some of those and literally post those as your content. Maybe you have it over a video where maybe someone said, it's the funniest video I've seen, or whatever, the funniest film I've seen in a while, whatever. And you can use a comment, even if it's just a random user, and post that as the opening before you show a clip or a trailer or whatever. You can use people's comments as content for you. Even bad ones, honestly. It doesn't have to just be the good ones. If someone leaves a really funny bad comment, you could even use that and say something like, let's prove them wrong, or what do you think, or something. You can lean into anything. Like sometimes making fun of yourself in that way and doing that can work. Obviously not maybe don't do it if you're like an art house type of film that's trying to go to Sundance or went to Sundance, and maybe you don't want to lean into that. But if it's a comedy or sports or whatever, something that doesn't take itself too seriously, you can do that and can really work. And then number 8, and this is also really important just in general, but especially in the beginning when you're starting out, really interact with everyone. Don't be one of those people that's too cool to answer comments. Every comment, answer everything, engage, because every person you talk to can be a fan of the film, can see the film, and that personalized attention helps really build not just this movie but also long-term for you as a filmmaker and audience. And lastly, but kind of most importantly, I think for the long term, is build your email list. Make sure to keep bringing people to your email list. If you don't have it, set one up before you release, and have people go there for maybe exclusive BTS, so behind the scenes, maybe promos, maybe just future for films I'm working on, or new film I'm working on, where I keep you updated on the journey. Whatever, you can find different ways to use your newsletter, but just get them on there so that you start building this audience for your next projects as well. And that's how I think you build a sustainable career. So that was all the points that I wanted to make. As you can see, like even with no budget, there is a lot you can do. Yes, it takes a lot of effort, but you can't, it's hard to you can't do one without the other. So if you don't have the money, you need to make up for it, like I said, with the effort. And I think, these things, if you do these things, you will do way more than most filmmakers, because most filmmakers don't do anything. So remember that, and hopefully some of this helps. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you guys have done for your film or have thought about doing, and I'm always interested to hear any ideas. I'm always learning as well. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week.